Cathy went to a Girl Scout meeting. We have like these leader meetings that all the leaders in our community have to go to. And she went to this leader meeting, and our boss asked her a question. How do you keep older girls in Girl Scouts? Because we never lose any girls, not really. We've lost one here and there. And I thought, how do we do that? And let's talk about that. And I know I'm always so worried that Girl Scouts is going to be boring, but people keep emailing me from the first Girl Scout episode saying it was not boring at all. So I'm hoping that this one is not boring either. I don't think any conversations with me and Cathy and Kirsten are boring ever. I don't think they could be, but that's just me. So anyway, we're talking about Girl Scouts and being leaders of older girls and kind of what we found that works and doesn't work. And, you know, maybe you could apply it to your classroom if you're a teacher. Maybe you could apply it to your Boy Scout troop if you're a leader, or your gymnastics team if you're a coach. I don't know. Maybe some of it can be applied. So, because really we're just talking about how do we keep middle schoolers and high schoolers engaged. That's really what it's about in the context of Girl Scouts. So I hope you enjoy it. I also have something very exciting. I have a mug. It's a wife of the party mug. So I've been wanting to make one of these really for me for a long time. And then I thought, well, I'll just make a small batch to sell if anybody wants any. I apologize. They're $25, which I struggled with, but they cost me like $20 to make. So I'm not really making any money off of them, but I just thought they were cool and I wanted one for myself. So I only made 40. So go for it. If you want a mug, I got 40 of them. If we sell out really fast, I'll make 40 more. It's cool. But I thought I'd start with 40 and see how they went. So if you're interested in a mug, you can go to wifeotp.com and purchase a mug. Thank you so much for showing up every week. I love doing this podcast. I love getting your emails. I even love the emails saying, hey, you really screwed this one up. I love it. I want to know all of it. I want to hear everything. So keep sending me emails. You can email me through the same website, wifeotp.com. I'm on Facebook. I have a Wife at the Party page on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I think it's L. Kreischer on Instagram. And I'm pretty easy to find because my husband is obnoxiously loud. So if you can't find me through me, you can definitely find me through him. Thank you for showing up. I hope you enjoyed this episode about Girl Scouts. I really had fun talking about it. So hope you learned something because I learned something. All right. Thanks for coming back. This is SoCal habit. You don't go anywhere without your sunglasses. There is essential.
How is it that my children don't understand that?
I know.
Mine don't yet either.
Oh my God.
Entire lives.
Yeah, but maybe it's because this is where they've lived their entire lives.
Yeah. So
Like
Lily's pretty good about wearing sunglasses, isn't she?
She used to be really good about
Okay.
it. She's not as good anymore. I think she doesn't have the one she wants. Like they're not cool enough or whatever. I'm not sure.
My
It's
kids,
unclear.
I think it's an affectation that I wear them. And I'm like, we have blue eyes. Like it is, like the ophthalmologist has told us blue eyes, they let in more light than darker eyes.
Yeah.
Like, of course, wear your sunglasses. But
It just, yeah.
my
it's
kids
just bright.
are just oblivious.
my kids don't either. I keep saying to Georgia now that she's
Especially
learning to drive.
Driving. Yes, that is the
You
thing.
need them.
Yeah.
You actually, they are essential.
You
And she'll
can't
be
not have
driving.
them.
She'll
Yeah.
forget them and go, I can't see anything. And I'm like, yeah, you need some sunglasses.
Right.
It's not rocket science here.
Max is
fools.
convinced his ears are uneven. So like they're crooked on his face and he won't wear them.
Oh my God. I have the same problem.
everybody
My
has that
ears
problem,
are
don't
uneven.
they?
But I don't know. That's what he's convinced. He's like, they look
Yeah.
stupid. My ears are uneven.
I don't know if
and I
that's my
can't wear
ears
them.
or the bridge of
And
my nose or what.
My
Except
ears
mine
are
are
uneven.
always uneven.
feel like
That's
this is
normal.
fine.
It's
Yeah,
normal to
it
have
is normal.
some, yeah.
And some non-symmetrical items on your body.
Yeah.
Normal. But I have to go, my sunglasses are a prescription because
Right.
I don't have a bad enough eyesight to need contacts, but it's bad enough that I need them to drive, right? I don't need them, like I can see you fine. But for driving, I just
Can you
need
see
them
me,
for
though?
distance. I can see you fine too. But so they won't, he's like, you're just not ready for contact. You're not ready. So don't get them when you're not ready. He was like, trust me, you won't want them. So just be good with not having contacts. So, but that means I'm tethered to my prescription sunglasses, right? I have to have them or I can't really see to drive. I can, but not like I can't read the street signs until I'm right upon them. So,
I can't do that with my contacts.
that may not be good. Let me guess. Have you not been to the eye doctor either? Have you made an appointment?
I go to the eye doctor every year because I can't get contacts without them.
Have you made a doctor's appointment?
Oh, yeah, it's done. Over.
You already did your, what?
I've done everything.
You had your physical?
I've had it. I've had blood work. I've had like everything under the sun.
Okay,
Wait a minute.
Okay, first of all, why were we not informed? Why is this the first we're hearing of it?
Exactly. And you know how many emails I get asking me, has she done it? Has she done it?
Oh, yes.
And I'd asked you over and over again. I felt at this point I was being invasive.
Okay, this is a social media post, if ever there was one.
100%.
Wife of the party needs to celebrate Cathy Fromkin getting her physical.
Yes. I will
Massive
tell you,
crap.
though, what a fucking nightmare it was to get a doctor.
Yeah.
The actual doctor, the appointment, like that is not the issue. But freaking A, man, I understand why I didn't do it for so long and why people don't. Like, it took me 4 days of like searching to find an acceptable doctor. It was insanity.
Really?
So we have what?
Oh. Alexa, shut up.
We have what I think is decent insurance. I search for a doctor, and it's a fucking disaster. I put in 2 criteria, something close to my house and female, right? So the first 12 pages, I have male doctors, I have oncologists, I have allergists. I'm like, that's not. And I kept thinking I was doing something wrong. So I like redid the search, and same thing. I'm like, why? What is happening? Why can't you have a search engine that actually gives me what I want?
Yeah, that's a pretty simple filter.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. And there's not many.
basic.
Like I was like, I need a general practitioner anyway. And then every doctor I search is like 1 star. Like terrible
What?
reviews on Vital, like whatever it is, Vital, like MD.com, like whatever the 2 are. They're terrible. I'm like, who would go to these people? Like, they're terrible doctors. So I get annoyed and I give up and I go back and I give up. And like literally for days, I'm trying to do this. And I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
This is such a waste of my friggin' time. So I get really annoyed. I was like, I have to find a fucking doctor. If I don't, people are going to kill me.
These
So
people,
I do.
Yes, these 2
Yes,
people.
I know. So I do the stupidest thing in the world.
What?
I Google female doctor in Los Angeles, which is so stupid. How are you going to find a doctor through Google, right?
But you did, didn't you?
2 days later.
2 days.
So, and again, it's the same thing. The first 6 pages are all male doctors. They're all like whatever. And I
Are you
get
kidding?
it. I get it because I'm sure somewhere in their bio it says treats male and female.
Right.
So-
right.
right.
I get how they want to maximize their search hits or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But for somebody who's actually trying for something very specific, it's really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Which
you
isn't
can't
even
just
that
find-
specific. I mean, that's
It's really not that
It's really
specific.
not.
So anyway, I go through pages and pages and I can't find anyone. And randomly, as I'm flipping through, I find a like a health center, not a clinic, but like a health center. I'm like, oh, I drive by that place all the time. And I keep going because why the hell is a health clinic coming up when I'm asking for a specific doctor? Who knows? Long story. I end up going back to that place that has great reviews, great doctors. They have another center that's even closer. End of story.
And you go to the health center.
So then I go to the center. I find a doctor. First available appointment is like in 2 days, but it's like at 11:30. And the one negative thing about this particular doctor is that she's super thorough, so she's always late. I was like, so if I get an 11:30 appointment, it's going to be
2:30.
I want 9 a.m. I want the first available appointment, which of course wasn't until like 3 weeks later.
Right.
I was like, fuck it, whatever. Like,
you're
if
like,
you
I've waited
know,
like
if
9
it's-
years.
Yeah, yeah.
I can wait another 3 weeks.
Well, you know what? I actually didn't. I was like, listen, if you know it's going to be an hour, then you just have to have that in your head.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be shocked if I have to wait an hour. I'm not going to be like annoyed because they're telling me I'm going to wait an hour.
Yeah.
So I took the first available appointment. My appointment was at 11:30. I walked in. I did all of the paperwork. I had the physical. I had the pap smear. I went and then walked down the hall to get blood work done. And I was out by 12:20.
Wow.
I was like, wait a minute. That was the easiest thing in the world.
Wow.
Amazing.
And now it's the easiest thing in the world to go next year because
As
now
long
you
as she
have a
doesn't
doctor.
friggin' retire or move to Minnesota like my last doctor, then we're totally good.
Yeah. You liked
Yes.
her?
Yeah, she was lovely.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you're healthy?
Yeah.
Nice.
Not dying.
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished, Kathy.
Kathy did it.
You should really celebrate that.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, really.
You should celebrate that.
No,
that
it's
was
stupid that it took
No,
that
it is
long.
not stupid. You know
But-
why it's not stupid? Because it took you a long time to get that done. It took you forever.
And that was actually the most annoying part. I actually remember this happening when I went 7 years ago that I couldn't find a doctor. I'm like, why is it so flipping hard? I don't understand.
No.
It should just be easy.
It should
and why
be
are there
easy.
so many bad doctors in Los Angeles?
Well, there's bad
I mean-
everything in every industry in every city. But I know what you mean. I have really good doctor karma. I seem to hit on good ones right away, and I almost always get them from word of mouth.
Me too.
But so I've never really had to struggle through that. It sounds terrible.
There was actually one doctor who I had gotten a referral for, but she was a DO.
What's a
and
DO?
A doctor of obstetrics.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, and she had great reviews, everywhere. And I was like, and Steven happened to be over my shoulder. And he's like, why would you go there? You don't need that. That's not really appropriate. And I was like, oh, you're kind of right. And I was like, fine, I'll just keep searching. And then at some point in the middle of the night, I was like, fuck it. I'm just going there because it's easy. And then I woke up the next day and I was like, okay, fine. I'm not going to go there.
But look at the struggle you went through just to get a doctor's appointment.
It was literally 4 days.
Yeah, that's insane.
Where I put in actual effort to find one. I'm like, this is so stupid. So as long as she doesn't retire, we're golden.
It is. The process sounds stupid.
It was really frustrating. I have to say, it was really way harder than it should be.
I wonder if, back in the day, I found my doctor. She's an internist.
Mm-hmm.
I found her in 1997. So I've been with her since 97. And at that point, my insurance card came with a directory.
Yeah.
Like a hardbound directory that was organized by area. So I just flipped to Beverly Hills because I thought, well, all the best doctors are going to be in Beverly Hills. Why would I go somewhere else? And I live 10 minutes from Beverly Hills. I don't live in Beverly Hills, but I can get there. So I flipped to Beverly Hills and just flipped through. I wanted a woman. And she was, I think, one of the first women. And I just went to her. And I just liked her. It was that simple.
Yeah.
So the internet has made it far more complicated. I was just listening to a podcast, The Happiness Project, that you told me about. Didn't you tell me about that?
I did.
About choices. Have you listened to that one?
I am I'm behind on all my podcast listening because I got really into audiobook listening.
Oh, yeah?
This in the past couple of months. So
good.
I don't know if I've heard this one yet.
Oh,
but
you know what? I started a book that I think you'll like.
Oh,
what is it?
Last night. Oh, crap. Little Fires Everywhere.
oh, I read it.
Did you read it?
Yes, I loved it.
I'm
Yeah.
200 pages in
Good.
one day.
Wow.
And it's going to be a movie or a TV. I think
Oh,
maybe a
is
TV
it?
series. I think Reese Witherspoon is
Oh,
producing
really?
it. Maybe.
Is this a book I would
Oh,
like?
interesting. Probably. It's fiction.
Fiction.
Not that you don't read fiction,
I
but
do
I
read
feel like you
fiction,
have
yeah.
so much on your plate
I do.
that I feel like that falls to the side. But yeah, I think you would like it.
I've started doing the really dumb thing of purchasing books I want to read and piling them up, which doesn't make you feel stressed at all. Just for the record, it makes me feel massively
That's
stressed.
bad feng shui.
But that is something I'm like, I don't want to forget that book, and I'll forget it if I don't have it. So my intention is at some point to get through these books. But the fiction I like to read at night, because I'll end up falling asleep. So Little Fires Everywhere. I've heard of that too.
She's written other stuff too. I haven't read anything of hers,
I think
but
I've read one other of hers. I can't think of it.
I've heard her name for a long time, but I've never read anything
What's her
until this
name?
one. Celeste. And her last name is
some-
NG.
Ing, maybe.
Ing. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it, but
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Little Fires Everywhere.
Okay,
Check that
so
out.
the Happiness
Yeah,
Project.
sorry.
The Happiness Project. No, that's fine. They did an episode about choices and about how having too many choices makes us less happy.
Yes, they call it decision fatigue.
Is that what they call it?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I didn't get to that part of the podcast.
Well, I don't know if it was on that podcast, but I know she's talked about that at other times. And as soon as I heard that expression, I was like, oh, I've never felt so heard. I relate to that so much, that just decision fatigue. It was so much easier when it was like, growing up, it was like Levi's or Lee.
I know, right? You're so right. Sergio Valente or Gloria Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
Sassoon? There was
Or
three of them.
DoorDash.
Or DoorDash, right? That's it. You're so, I agree with you too. I feel that way too. And it's not just about what coffee do I get, those type of decisions. To me, I've started feeling this lately. There are so many decisions to be made via email, text message, constantly, that I don't think our parents made as many decisions in that small way than we do. Like, I feel like every day is a constant decision-making day.
Yes, I just talked about that with my mom, because where I grew up, and I believe it is still this way, you go to your local elementary school, which feeds into your local middle school, which feeds into your local high school.
No choosing.
Yeah,
And-
you don't even think about it.
No, me neither. No.
And now I believe there are a couple of exceptions. Like they used to have French immersion at most of the schools. Now it is concentrated at one school. So in that case, you
In
go
Canada.
outside of your in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. Yes, in this particular school board. And with us, I mean, we have this wonderful wealth of choices. We have many public schools from which to choose, many charter schools, many private schools. There's parochial private. There's, there are
Magnet schools.
magnet schools. There are so many options, but it always leaves me feeling like I am failing as a parent.
You're terrified to make
Because-
the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree totally. And even within the decision of the school, there's decisions
The
within that.
program.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right?
the programs or the
Is your kid's going to do a
Yes.
humanities program? Are they going to do media arts and tech? Are they going to do STEAM or
And
STEM? Are they going to do
so-
that
environmental?
was not an option when I went to high school. It was
No.
just you went there and yes, you chose your electives. Like you have to do English and math and
Yeah.
whatever the regular things. And then you chose your electives and it's like, okay, well, I chose drama, so therefore I can't do art.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. It's not like that now. It really isn't. I think the flexibility of it can be paralyzing.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you go to high school and you go, okay, you can take health class in school or you can take it in the summer, and you can take language in school or you could take sign language off campus at this college campus. And then the kids are like, now I'm feeling pressured. Now I have to take, I really want to take art. So in order to do that, I have to take health in the summer. And and it's just, everything is too much. It's too much decision. But I didn't actually finish the podcast about having too many decisions making you unhappy. But I think when you Google female doctor and you're flooded
Yeah.
with things that don't even meet your criteria.
Pages and pages of results.
Yeah, it shuts you down.
Yeah.
On an activity
Totally.
that you're already completely mentally fatigued by before you've even started.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is why you haven't started it for so many years. I mean,
Yes.
it's very defeating.
It was way more challenging than I thought it was going to be. And then for nothing. For what? For 50 minutes?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the actual act in and of itself is nothing.
Yeah.
And that's never been the issue, really.
Right.
It's just, it's so daunting. Like, ugh.
But
Just
you
the
did it.
finding,
It honestly,
Yes,
it makes me
done.
so happy to hear that you did that.
Me too.
Because I was harassing her a lot too. I kind of backed off and thought, okay, is Cathy really irritated at this point?
I know.
No,
I
I'm
was too.
not
I was like, I'm going to leave it
irritated.
alone for a little bit. Let's leave it alone. But people
No.
still email me. Has she
It's
gone to
done.
the doctor?
It's done. Yes.
So everybody.
100%. Yes.
She's gone to the doctor and she is
Yes.
healthy.
Yay!
We will keep her for a little longer.
Yeah. You're stuck with me for a while.
Good. I'm glad to know that. Phew.
Yeah.
Phew.
So,
Well, I wanted to talk about Girl Scouts today again. And the first time we did that Girl Scout episode, I thought, and I said, I know this is going to be boring to a lot of people. And I can't believe how many people have emailed me and said not boring at all. Even men who aren't involved in Girl Scouts are like, I found it very interesting. I thought it was a very good conversation. So I'm qualifying it again. This may be a boring conversation for some of you. I get it. But this is why I want to talk about it. Cathy, talk about we are required to go to a service unit meeting once a month, which is where we have like a boss, and all of the leaders in our community, in our area, our designated area, are supposed to gather together and meet and talk about what's going on in the entire Girl Scouts, in Girl Scouts in LA, in Girl Scouts in our service unit or neighboring service units, to set our calendar, to kind of plan things as a service unit. So once a month, the second Thursday of every month, one of us is supposed to go to this meeting, and usually it's usually Cathy because it's right down the street from her house. But I try to go as much as I can, and Kirsten just doesn't go at all.
I've been to
She is the smart one.
I've been to a couple in the past.
I'm just joking.
Yes.
It really is Cathy
It is,
more than
yeah.
anybody, because it is literally like 2 minutes from her house, which is a bummer. I tend to go to the meetings for the cookies and nuts,
which is 2 minutes
from my house.
Right.
But at this last meeting, Cathy came back and told us something I thought was really amazing, and I thought we should podcast about this again.
So it was actually over 2 meetings.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been to 2 recently. No, the first one started with they always try to do some sort of kooky training or like craft project that you can bring back to your troop. However, a couple of months ago, they did this really interesting training where you wrote down whatever sort of problem you were having in your troop and crumpled it up, threw it in a bucket, exchanged buckets, you pulled one out, and then that sort of group of people sort of gave suggestions as to how to help. Apparently, in that meeting, a lot of what came out was people having difficulties with older troops. Most of the people who attend these meetings now have older girls.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in a very similar position. There's one brand new troop that has little daisies. And I feel so bad for these women who look like deer in headlights. They are so overwhelmed.
Aww.
And I feel bad for them. Anyway, so the rest of the leaders there have much older girls like we do. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the next meeting we come back and our boss, Jackie, is like, I looked at all of the notes and the majority of them are about how do we deal with problems, retaining older girls, keeping them engaged and all of that kind of stuff. So we had this conversation about that very thing. And it was probably one of the most helpful things we've done in a very long time. I wish they would do more of this kind of stuff. But essentially, it was like, how do we retain girls who are in middle and high school who don't necessarily even want to be seen as Girl Scouts because it's weird. Nobody ever wants to wear their vest out in public because it's embarrassing. And
I just dealt with that this week when Georgia had one day after school, because you can only sell cookies in daylight. You can't sell in the dark. And Georgia's in softball until dark every day. So I finally, one day she didn't have softball. I picked her up from the bus and said, okay, you're selling cookies today. And she's like, nope. I said, yeah, this is the last week of cookie season. You haven't sold cookies all season. You're going to sell cookies today, just to our neighbors in the neighborhood. Isla took all the cookies down to Bert's management firm's office and sold hundreds of boxes of cookies down there without Georgia. And they share the profits because it's not fair that Georgia can't go because she's at softball. So why should Isla sell 200 boxes and Georgia sell 15? That's not really fair. So I make them kind of team it up. So I was like, Isla did the office. You're doing the neighborhood. Fine. So she comes home. I need to change clothes. She comes out ready to go. No vest. And I said, where's your vest? And she was like, do I really have to wear it? I said, yeah, you do. You can't sell cookies without your vest. You have to wear it. So she very begrudgingly put her vest on. And obviously an adult has to go with them when they're selling cookies. So we went from door to door to our neighbors we've been selling cookies to since Georgia was in the 2nd or 3rd grade. And it was one of the most amazing experiences, I think, for Georgia recently. She came home. I mean, everybody was like, you're still a Girl Scout. I'm so proud of you. You have no idea what a commitment. That's such a great commitment. And you should be really proud of yours. Every single neighbor who has been buying cookies for her forever. So when we got home, she stopped and said, Mom, I'm really sorry I was a jerk about that. That was really, really awesome. And I thought, that's what you have to remind them of.
Right.
Is that piece, is that, yes, for the exact moment, you feel like a dork for putting that vest on. But then you go through this whole process, and at the end of it, you go, wow, that actually was really pretty special. And I'm really proud of that. So anyway, this is exactly what you're talking about, is that they don't want to wear the vest and they don't want to be, quote, seen. She won't let me take the cookies to softball. I've already emailed all the parents. We're selling Girl Scout cookies, which she told me I could do, but I can't physically take them to the softball field and sell them. If someone buys them, I can deliver them, but I can't bring them for her to sell at the games. No, absolutely not. Just so crazy. But
yeah, it's funny. Lily had the same thing. She would not for the first week like ask her friends at school.
yeah.
And then like once she did, it was like the floodgates opened.
Yeah.
And you're
Oh.
like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
When the
same.
cat's out of the bag, they're like,
Yes.
"You're a Girl Scout?
Yeah.
You're selling cookies?"
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
so excited.
Yeah. They're the
It's
most
just-
popular person at school. all
Yeah,
of a
during
sudden.
cookie season. Yeah.
Yes.
But they are
It's-
really embarrassed.
They're
And-
so embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like it's such a negative thing in their minds. I'm not even sure their peers see it as negative.
I don't think they're peers.
Maybe if they saw them in the vest, it would be negative. I totally get that piece of it. But in and of itself, and there's so many adults who give them praise.
Yeah.
Like Lily's been working on her silver award, and the adults are like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Like, and she feels so good, but
Mhm.
with her peers, she doesn't, which
Yeah.
is so frustrating. I mean, she does obviously in the troop, but
Yeah, in the troop. But I know what you mean. It's the same. They all hide it. Georgia
Yeah.
hides it from all her friends, except for her friends who are also Girl Scouts.
right.
And she did the same thing. It took her a while to start selling cookies at school, and then it was like a freaking flood.
Yeah.
She was bringing like 2-3 bags of cookies to school every day,
Mhm.
and was proud of it.
Yeah.
It's just that leap. It's that initial, and she didn't have to wear a vest at school.
Right. Of course not.
She can't wear a vest at school, so I don't know. It's a really interesting time in Girl Scouts from 6th grade on. So just so everybody knows, we have a troop of 6th, 7th, 8th, and 10th graders. The 6th, 7th, and 8th graders meet together at one meeting, and the 10th graders meet separately at another meeting every other week. So the younger girls meet on Fridays and the older girls meet on Sundays of the same week, but it's every other week. And then sometimes we do things together. Like if we have a fundraiser, the 10th graders will come in with the younger girls. If we go camping, we all do things together. But the older girls wanted to stay separate. They wanted their own, they wanted a little autonomy from Girl Scouts. I think they wanted to run their own show and not be part of, the younger girls, which I think is hard too for people to understand. Well, I think, Cathy, keep going with what happened at the meeting, because I think that Jackie said some things to you that led me to say we should have this conversation.
So basically she brought up the conversation and, it was all about retaining people. And then she kind of put me on the spot and she's like, so you have 22 girls and you guys haven't lost anyone in forever. So what do you do? I'm like, I don't know what we do.
We're just super cool.
We're awesome.
Super cool moms.
We dance a lot.
Yeah.
That's what
I
we
said,
do.
actually what I said, the funny thing is, and this is a little tough for us because as leaders, we tend to be really organized and on top of things. And we're like, we can do this and this and this and this. And our girls are not interested in that. Our girls want downtime. And I feel like we've backed off a lot. Like our meeting starts at 4, but we don't really start until 4:30 because the girls
4:15,
need
4:30.
a minute to come together, because a lot of these girls are now all in separate schools. They don't see each other anymore on a regular daily basis. So they need a minute to come back together and to be a troop. And we can sit there and be like, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then we're battling with them.
Yeah.
Please stop talking. Please stop talking. And like, we're not getting anything accomplished anyway.
Right.
So if we just take a breath and give them 20 minutes to get their like social on, and then we can sort of rein them in a little bit easier.
Yeah,
So I
it's very
feel
true.
like, while it's really hard for us to be like, oh my God, we could be doing so much more. Part of what we discussed, and you said this at our meeting before we even started this year, was our goal is to keep these girls engaged.
Yeah.
And if social is how we keep them engaged, that's what we need to do. That's what we need to build in. So there's a lot more downtime. There's a lot more social. There's a lot more, and some of the other troops were talking about asking the girls what they want to do and having it be girl led, which I think we've done for a very long time.
Yes, we
Every
have.
single year we sit down and have a conversation with them. What do you guys want to do? What's important to you? And it's been pretty consistent for the last 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
They have all said the same thing. But they really just want to connect.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is our job. That's how we keep them. That's how we have not lost.
It seems
many
like
girls.
the older they get, the less motivated they are by a badge.
Yeah.
And the more motivated they are to just hang out together.
Mhm.
And so if Friday afternoons are just a social club, then called Girl Scouts, then so be it.
Yes. I agree. We did let go of a lot. Like we did just say, you know what? If we earn 2 badges a year, fine. If we earn 1 badge a year, totally fine. What do you want to do? Because we talked about this probably in the last episode about Girl Scouts, but our goal, number 1, is to make this a safe group of girls for each other. Because as they get older, groups in their respective schools aren't always safe. So if this place is always safe, no matter what, they can walk in the door and just exhale. So if we've accomplished that, I think that that's amazing to give them that space to just walk in and go, oh, I can just be myself. I've been myself with these girls since kindergarten, and I can still just be that person for an hour and a half every other week. And I think that really keeps them coming back. The social is a big part of that. But also, we just finished World Thinking Day, which for those of you who aren't involved in Girl Scouts is, why don't you explain it, Kirsten, since you're kind of World Thinking Day head guru.
It's basically like the science fair, but with countries instead of science. So the kids get together in small groups. Well, usually through Girl Scouts, there is a service unit led World Thinking Day where each troop comes with a country. And so they will dress in the country of origin's costume. They'll learn a phrase. They'll maybe make a craft. They'll bring a snack. And then they'll have this like trifold board, like a science fair board with a lot of information and pictures about the country. But last year, based on our girl-led feedback, the girls really wanted it to be more low-key. And Cathy had the brilliant idea of doing it just an in-meeting World Thinking Day. So instead of the entire troop working on the same country, they would branch off into smaller groups of 2 or 3 kids and each choose a country. And we did that last year, and it was fantastic. They had a blast. It was very low-key. They just didn't want the big spectacle of it. And while we do lose some of that community with our, sort of our greater community, greater Girl Scout community, it was awesome for our little micro community.
Yes, it was. And I think that's part of what I think maybe not being rigid in the context of Girl Scouts is really important in this age, right?
Yes.
So we're still doing World Thinking Day. We're still doing what World Thinking Day is, but they don't want to do it in a larger group.
And none of them do the weekends anyway. Like we lose girls anytime we do weekend stuff.
Yeah.
So this way, I mean, we lost a lot of girls this time because they all had stuff, but there's so many who are engaged when it's our regular Friday meeting.
Yes, they are.
We get so many more girls coming to that than we would to a weekend event.
Yes. And isn't that the point? So I think when someone asks, how do you keep girls there? That's one of the ways you do it. We want to do World Thinking Day. We don't want to do it the way Girl Scouts wants us to do it, which is in a service-wide, one troop represents one country. Well, I personally don't see anything wrong with doing it the way we did it within our own meeting. And I think I would encourage any leaders listening to start thinking like that, right? To start thinking like Girl Scouts says we need to accomplish this item. How can we do it in a way that fits our girls' wants, needs, interests, and not try to shove them into the Girl Scout box and try to maybe bring the Girl Scout box to them? Because remember, in middle school, they're really self-interested. So they're
and
not
very opinionated too.
Yeah.
They get more and more opinionated all the time.
They are. And they're not interested in complying with another school-like thing.
It's so funny. On the day after or 2 days after, I was boothing with a bunch of the younger girls, and they were joking about World Thinking Day. And they were joking about, and I didn't even notice this, on one of their posters, somebody had, I don't even remember what it was, drawn something at the bottom that was completely irrelevant. It was goofy. It was some sort of like...
Was it a smiley face?
No, it was like a pineapple or something random.
Oh, how funny.
Like unrelated to
Sounds about right.
whatever.
Yeah, sounds right.
And in my head, I was like, oh, but that's why this also works.
Yeah.
Because we don't give a shit that there's a pineapple at the bottom. But if we were going to World Thinking Day with our troop poster, we probably wouldn't greenlight a pineapple in Germany or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Poster was really fancy when we went to the service unit.
Yes, it's like very Pinterest-like.
Yeah.
And you're like, but that's not what they want. That's not who they are.
And it's not necessary.
They
are
work
these random,
so
weird,
hard in
quirky
school.
girls.
They're getting pushed so hard
That's
in
right.
school. We don't want to make another school. And sometimes badge work or World Thinking Day or whatever just ends up being more school.
Yes. Which is not the point.
No.
The point is
That's how
have
they lose
fun while learning.
And
you
they
know,
were really excited when they got to pick their countries. They were like, we can pick anything. And it's,
Yes.
And they were great when they presented. They're excited and they actually learned something, whether they realize it or not. Let's not tell them.
Exactly.
But they're super excited and engaged.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were able to do kind of whatever they wanted, whereas some girls who weren't there, they had a video representing them and then they were goofy afterwards. And when they presented, they were goofy. You know what I mean? Whereas they had that freedom to exhale and be themselves and be silly and goofy and accepted.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think that would happen in a larger context. They wouldn't be that way.
No, they wouldn't have been that way at the service unit. I don't think
Definitely
so.
not.
They wouldn't have let loose and enjoyed themselves. They really enjoyed themselves. I think that's another goal we have is that they are enjoying themselves, not that they are trudging through a meeting. I don't want anybody there that's not enjoying themselves. So how do we make it something they enjoy? Even the older girls that I'm the only one that really works with the older girls on a regular basis because it's Georgia and her 3 friends. But I try to look at every meeting is, how can this be enjoyable or fun or so informative is undeniable, right? It may not be fun. So Cathy and I kind of developed this financial badge because I think I can say we feel that there's a lot of repetition in Girl Scouts. There's a lot of doing, this is my complaint about Girl Scouts. When you have a financial badge in 1st and 2nd grade, when you're a brownie, it's basically the same badge in 3rd and 4th grade, basically the same badge in 5th and, but it's the whole way up. It's the same thing repeated. And I think they've made it different, but they haven't. It's the same shit over and over again. There's no broadness to a lot of these badges. They're very kind of singularly focused. And I think Girl Scouts thought process is, well, this way a girl can step into our organization at any time and not have missed anything. But for the lifers, for the kindergarten through 12th graders, it gets very fucking boring.
Very quickly.
Really repetitive. And by middle school, they don't want to do it again. So we've had to reinvent some of these badges, even kind of sort of, sorry, Girl Scouts, cheating and saying, this badge is going to go for these set of criteria that aren't actually what you're asking them to do. Because we've already done this criteria. In essence, we've already earned this badge. I mean, so many of the badges, like with camping, is the same way. Yeah. We just did this last year. So why are we doing this again this year? I don't understand. There's one badge for camping that starts simple and gets more in depth in every step. And it's a badge for every level. It's that like 8-part badge. That one makes sense to me.
But that's the only one.
That's the only one. The rest of them are the same shit, just repackaged.
The financial badge. Practice giving change to your customers. Selling cookies.
Yeah,
You're like, really?
If they don't know how to give change in high school
6th grade,
after doing
for
this
God's
since
sake.
kindergarten,
Like, how
there's
many
something wrong.
times
Yeah.
Can we practice?
Maximize your customer base. No shit. We've been doing this since 2nd grade.
Right.
I have
It's
maximized my
so-
customer base. It's so dumb. So Cathy and I called Cathy one day and was like, here's what I think we should do. I think we should teach like a basic math class, which is what I had in high school. It's like life math. Like, how do you balance your checkbook? What is a bill? What does it look like when you get a bill? How do you write a budget?
What's a check stub?
Well, how do you read a check stub? What are all these FICA, Social Security? What does all this mean on your check stub? So we spent a day last summer kind of coming up with a 5-step badge for how to teach these 10th graders about money. And I told them before we started, I said, Cathy and I have come up with this badge. It's about money. It sounds really boring, but trust me, this is going to be really important in a very short period of time. So let's see how we like it. And let's really figure this out together. I'm trying to figure out how to teach you this. And you tell me if I've left anything out, or if there's something that's not clear, or something that you don't understand,
Or if you hate it.
or if you hate it, or if there's something that you'd like to know more about. And we've just been kind of figuring it out with these 10th graders, and it's been the most amazing thing. And I wish Girl Scouts had some loosely based badge work about anything, about like how to care for a household, or how to they have one about how to plan a trip, which is really great when they're older, when they're in seniors and ambassadors. They have this like travel log, multiple page worksheet about budgeting and planning for a trip, which is really great. I wish they would take that model and apply it to other places, but they don't. So Cathy and I took that model without knowing and applied it to finances. And every girl is going home to their mom and saying, that was the best meeting ever. I learned so much in that meeting, and I know that it's practical stuff that I will use later. And I don't know why Girl Scouts hasn't taken that point of view, especially for the high school girls. How do we take over home ec? Because home ec isn't in school anymore. Not that, and everybody thinks home ec is about cooking, whatever, and it is. But for me, home ec was also about writing a budget for your household, balancing your checkbook. It was about practical planning a dinner party. Like this past week, we had a short meeting because one of our girls is playing water polo. So she had a match before and after, and everybody had plans later in the day. So we had this 1 hour where we could meet. So I taught them how to set a formal table. Like I used to work in fine dining restaurants. So I taught them how to set a fine dining table. Tatum was jumping up and down. Literally. You're going to teach us how to set a table? Oh my God, I can't believe this is so much. She was jumping up and down. We did it at Tracy's house, another mom. She got all her formal china and silver out, and we set a table, a proper table. And they had a blast, and I taught them how to fold a napkin 4 ways. It was all from my restaurant. I mean, I was a waitress for 8 years. So I was like, here's 4 folds, and your homework assignment is to set this formal table for your dinner. And I also gave them each, the Happiness Project did a thing about gratitude, and how gratitude is actually more effective long-term when you do it every day, and it's a minor thing you're grateful for. Not like I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for my family, but I'm grateful that Kirsten let me borrow her pen because I really needed it. And I'm grateful for that. So if you track that gratitude, it has deeper long-term effects, like even on your health. So I was talking to them about that. I was like, I'd like for you to set the table in gratitude and say what you're grateful for. I gave them a journal and said, let's just try every day writing down one small thing you're grateful for. You don't even have to write, I'm grateful for. You can write, I didn't trip over that root I trip over every day. Or my friend loaned me her pencil in math class. Like, just make a list of what you're grateful for and see how it affects how you feel. They weren't super happy about that part. But the setting the table, I was like, set the table in gratitude for your mom who cooks dinner every day. Just be aware of being grateful when you set the table and see how it makes you feel about the finished product. There's no badge for that. I have no badge to give them. No badge for that. They earn nothing except how to set a table.
Right.
But I think there should be a badge for that. Why isn't there some kind of etiquette badge at that level? You're going to be getting a lot of graduation gifts. You would hope that a parent would have taught them how to write a proper thank you note. But I have a feeling a lot of Girl Scouts didn't get that parenting. So if they're targeting, all demographics of girls, then there are some demographics of girls who won't have those skills. So I don't know why they don't make a badge for how to set a proper table, how to write a proper thank you note, how to, I don't know, how to press a pleated skirt. Anybody pressed a pleated skirt? It fucking sucks. I fucking hate it. I hate it. But I don't know why they can't come up with something like that,
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time I was going, I had this guilt, a little bit of guilt, thinking, we're not earning anything.
Yeah.
This was really just a social gathering where I taught them how to set a table. What a bummer that I can't give them something to say that was a Girl Scout sanctioned item.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's unfortunate, but I don't know that our girls care about that.
No,
like the
they
token
don't.
badges don't motivate them to do anything, probably because
No.
they're not interesting. So
No.
I don't feel so bad about that.
But I know when I started
As long
this
as we're,
speech,
doing something.
doing something they enjoy.
And it
They
has some
enjoy
sort of
that.
meaning,
Yes.
There's
a purpose to it.
Yeah.
Or a meaning.
It's not just completely social. Like, let's just hang out all day.
Yeah, no.
Like, that's not really what we should be doing. And that's not what we're doing. But
No. But we're just doing less than we did when they were younger.
Yeah.
Accomplishing less than when they were younger, but accomplishing more by keeping them engaged.
Correct.
Right.
Yes. It's a different kind of accomplishment. Yeah.
Yes. I'm shocked these high schoolers are still into it. They love it.
So the other thing, during World Thinking Day, a parent said to me something that's sort of relevant to this. She said, I can't remember how she said it, but it was basically like, thank you so much for being flexible about when they can come. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're not super rigid about like, you have to attend every single meeting. It's
That's
not
true.
like a sports team where like you have to go, or like a theater production, like you have to be there or you're out.
Yeah.
Essentially, we're very open
Yeah.
and understand girls have a choice to make. And sometimes Girl Scouts is not first.
Right.
But the fact that they can still come back when it's available to them makes a difference. And there was a parent who was like, I'm so glad that it's not so rigid. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that is an adjustment on our part too. I think
Yeah.
anybody who takes on a leadership role in the Girl Scouts, a mom who raises her hand and says, I want to lead a troop, is probably a type A personality. It's probably someone who's uber organized
Right.
and really task oriented. And that doesn't go with what we're talking about, right? That personality
Yes.
type has to take a breath, because I am that personality type. And I would say that the two of you are also. So, yes. So it does take a downshifting and a real shift in paradigm to go, that's not what this is about anymore. It needed to be when they were younger.
Mhm.
It needed to be very rigid and very organized and very on task
And very
predictable.
planned. Every
Yes.
minute we had something.
Yes.
We knew what we were doing.
And very predictable for them,
Mhm.
because if they couldn't predict, they'd get really out of control. But now we're in a different phase of life, right? For these girls. So for any leaders listening who are in the younger years coming into the older years, maybe think about that, because it's not my first instinct to let go in this way, right? But it is the right thing to do. To do exactly what you're saying. That's exactly right. To be flexible and say, come when you can, don't when you don't. Earn the badge, don't earn the badge. Sell the cookies, don't sell the cookies. Come camping, don't come camping. We don't really care. We just want you to come back.
Yeah,
Right.
and to not worry about keeping up with the Joneses, like with the other troops in your area, the other girls that you see at selling cookies in front of a grocery store, and their vests are full of badges. To be able to step back as an adult and to go, okay, good for them, but not feel like a failure, like, oh, we failed these children because they only have one
Right.
badge on their little vests. They're not filling them up in the same way, but
Mhm.
we just have to reevaluate what is the priority. Is it more important to load them up with badges and have fewer girls? Because I can guarantee that we would have lost a bunch of girls if we said this year we are going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G badges, that a lot of them would have just said it's too much, because
It's like school.
they lead pretty stressful lives, I think. I think that, they're shuttling around, even just by virtue of having schools that are far away from home often, like riding the bus or getting driven for big chunks of the day. And whether they're in sports or they have a million different activities, these girls. So we don't want to really add to their plate. We want to, if anything, take away stress.
Enhance their plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
think
Our job
so.
is to fill their soul, not their vest.
Yes.
That's what I think.
I agree.
Well said.
Very well said, Cathy. Very well said. I feel that way too. And I feel, I've said this before to be schmoopy. I said this at World Thinking Day. I feel really privileged to be able to watch them go through this process of friendship and of Girl Scouts and of learning and growing as people. There are many girls in our troop who would never have gone camping ever if we hadn't taken them. And that is a privilege for me to be involved in that. I think that some leaders go into Girl Scout leadership and somehow start feeling burdened. And I think that's very easy to do. Super easy to do. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of parents who are flaky. There's a lot of kids who are unruly, who have behaviors that you don't enjoy. And if you don't keep your perspective in the right place, which to me is about gratitude, I'm grateful that I get to watch these girls go through this process, then it's easy to become resentful and angry and quit, really.
I'm just thinking about the first World Thinking Day meeting that I think it was Leanne and I who were there, and the kids were so excited. They had picked their countries and they were like, I mean, they were buzzing around like it was the most exciting thing that they got to do work. And we were kind of like, how did we pull the wool over their eyes here? Because they were like researching, they're looking through books and writing down facts. And we were like, okay, my child is never this excited to do homework. But there was one child who just said, this is the most boring meeting ever.
Yeah.
I have never been more bored in my life. And she kept going on about this. And I was just sitting there going, okay, thank you for your feedback. Thank you. And I was not having it. Like, I wasn't that thrilled. Like, I had already we'd all moved heaven and earth to even be there on that day. We all had stuff going on in our lives. And I was like, just looking at Leanne and thinking, this is so rewarding, isn't it? It's so rewarding to be a leader.
At this moment in time, because
Talk about feedback. They are willing to give it
ad nauseum.
Yes.
Well, she chose also to sit next to me and Kirsten and just complain.
Yeah, and to just give us a running.
But you know what?
monologue.
I may have said this to you. I definitely said this to myself. I don't know if I said it to you. That's what she needed.
Yes.
That's the perspective to have in Girl Scouts. That's what that girl needed. She probably doesn't get to do that at home. She probably doesn't get to be at home and say, this sucks. Everything sucks. I hate this. I don't like that. So let her freaking do it. Let her go.
And I don't think it was necessarily even about World Thinking Day or the
wasn't.
work. She just needed to vent in that moment. Yes. And you did say that to me. And I was like, I know. I'm taking deep breaths.
Deep breath.
Deep.
But it is hard to... It's hard to remember that, I think, sometimes in the moment. It's far easier to get irritated. And I was irritated too, by the way. I'm not a saint over here. My brain was going, shut the fuck up. Okay? Just shut up. Just get a book and read it.
We get it. You don't like it.
You're the one that chose that country.
I know. And then she was complaining about the country. We're like, but you can pick any country.
Pick a different country, please, for the love of God. Pick 4 countries, research all of them. Just shut up. That's what we were thinking. But you have to stop that and keep it inside yourself and realize that that's not your role in her life. Your role in her life is to be a completely safe place. She should not feel judged. She should not feel like a bad person or a bad girl because of her bad behavior. I think she should feel, not that incident, but we definitely have girls who've had bad behavior. Our job is to make it a place where you go, we just don't act like that. This is not how we act here. You may act like that at home and that's your business, but here we don't do that. So let's do right here. I think it's worked. Like in our troop.
1,000%. I mean, we're the troop that always gets compliments every time we go anywhere.
Yeah, Vivian was
We're the
selling
ones who
cookies
are
on the
like-
last day.
I saw her.
Yes, and Jackie was walking her dog by, and she came and she was it couldn't have been nicer to Vivian. Vivian was actually quite poorly behaved.
Well, Jackie's our
I may
boss, by the
admit.
way, our Girl Scout boss.
And Jackie just talked about what a great troop we have, and mentioned all the things about that, we keep girls in, the older girls in, and that it's really remarkable. And then she bought 4 boxes of cookies from Vivian, and she's got a house full of cookies. And I said, Jackie, I'm sure you don't need those. And she said, well, I don't have this flavor, and this is the flavor that I like. She said, yeah, I'm stuck with a whole bunch that I don't want to eat.
That's sweet.
That is very sweet. She's a very
She
sweet
is
lady.
very sweet.
Talk
Yes.
about a lifer. She's been doing this
right.
forever.
And
Yeah.
she has 2 troops.
I know.
And her girls are like adults,
Yeah.
like our age adults.
Yeah. Oh, you mean her daughters?
Her daughter-
oh, yeah.
yeah.
She has grandchildren.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah.
Doesn't she
Yeah,
run
yeah.
her granddaughter's troop?
I don't
think?
I
know.
don't know, actually.
She's been doing it for so long.
Yeah, forever.
Forever. I think she's just one of those that just loves it, which is great.
I talked about that with the girls when we were boothing. That they provide such a lovely space for reminiscing for Girl Scouts, and it is amazing how many people come up in the span
Yes.
of boothing who are like, I was a Girl Scout, and like a much older lady came up saying, when I was a Girl Scout, a box of cookies was 50 cents.
Oh,
And
God.
yeah, so that it was a long time ago. She was
Yeah.
quite a bit older, but also it was really cool because like some hip millennials came by, cute girls with like nose piercings and colorful hair and whatever were like, oh yeah, I was a Girl Scout. And I think the girls were like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
I like her. Like, I feel like a dork right now in my vest, but she did this. And it really gives them like a sense of legacy and just like a sense of like belonging. I said to them, I was like, do you realize that you didn't just sell cookies to these people? You really like, this is a community.
Yeah.
You gave them an opportunity to talk about some like positive experiences that they had and some really cool things from their past that they maybe don't get to talk about all the time.
It's
Or
very
even
true.
think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I printed
pretty
out some stats. There are 2.5 million girl and adult members worldwide of the Girl Scouts organization. 2.5 million. 750,000 of them are adults. That's a lot of adult volunteers or members, or adult members. It's pretty great. Famous Girl Scout alums: Taylor Swift,
There's a ton of them. Yeah.
Mariah Carey, Abigail Breslin, Gwyneth Paltrow, Dakota Fanning, Venus and Serena Williams, Katie Couric, Barbara Walters, Robin Roberts are some of them. Condoleezza Rice, Hillary Clinton. 2 CEOs, I'm going to murder their last name. Susan Wojcicki, CEO of YouTube, and the CEO of IBM, Virginia Rometty. 69% of female U.S. senators are Girl Scout alums. 69%.
I've heard that, actually. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
57% of women serving in the House of Representatives are Girl Scout alums. 5 out of 9 current female governors are Girl Scout alums.
Oh, that's cool.
The Girl Scout Cookie Program is the largest girl-led business in the world. They sell 200 million boxes of cookies every year. That's crazy. 200 million boxes of cookies?
That is crazy.
It's about $800 million worth. I know, right? That's so crazy.
Right.
What else is in here? I think that's kind of it. But that's kind of crazy, right? And this was founded in 1912. That's how old this is. Pretty old.
So I have a cookie related comment that relates to having an older troop. That I was just thinking about how before I had kids, and if I was grocery shopping as a young adult and saw Girl Scouts outside of the store, I'd buy cookies from them. It's like, a rule. You're a psychopath if you don't stop at a lemonade stand and buy lemonade from a little kid.
Totally.
But I really feel like I was more inclined to like buy from the little cute daisies. Oh, they're adorable. It's their first opportunity. I'm really teaching them something. Oh, they're adorable. And I realize having middle schoolers that in so many ways, I'm not just talking about with Girl Scouts, in so many ways, society just sort of passes them by. They're not small and cute. I think our girls are adorable.
It's so
but
funny that you're saying this. So on Sunday when we were boothing, the girls, I had all middle schoolers, obviously, and they were like, do you remember when everyone stopped when we were daisies? So they all got down on their knees behind the
Oh my
tables, and they were
God.
shorting
Oh
my God. Like this.
oh my God.
Their chin in their hands trying to be extra cute so
Oh
people
my
would stop
God.
for
That's
them
funny.
because they were saying exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's
Everyone
crazy
used
that
to
they
stop.
noticed that.
I know. It was so funny.
Yeah, it's a little depressing that they
It is a
noticed it, but it's
little-
adorable that
Yes.
they figured figured out a workaround. But I just
Not sure it worked.
middle
They
school
were
girls
trying.
they're like, in many times they're too old for camp, but they're too young to be a counselor. And that just kind of sums up the middle school experience. That
Yeah.
it's like, you're too young to get a job, but you're too old to be playing at the, if you're playing at the park, then the moms are looking at you going, this is for my preschoolers.
Yeah.
And there's just not a place for them. And so for one, it's, the Girl Scouts is a place for them. But I just wanted to really put it out there to the general public to just think about that, not just with Girl Scouts, but if you have some middle schooler who's selling whatever their fundraiser is for school or whatever, that even if they may look a little sloppy or, they're not adorable, maybe they're not as articulate as you would hope that a full-grown body would be, that they're still kids and they need that self-esteem, that they need it more than the little kids do. Little kids are constantly, you remember walking through Target and, people commenting on, oh, your child is adorable. Your baby's adorable.
Yeah.
Oh, how cute. How old. Oh,
Yeah.
And
That stops.
middle
Yeah,
schoolers do
doesn't
not
happen.
get that. They're not getting much validation. So I would just, cookie season is over, but I would really encourage people in the future that to just think about that. If you're stopping outside of a grocery store and see some older, rumpled looking Girl Scouts, to maybe like just consider buying from them, because those are the girls that maybe need it, could benefit from that self-esteem.
Because if
bit
you think
more.
about it, it's much braver for them to put the vest on and sell
Yeah.
than when you're a Daisy.
Yeah.
Or a Brownie. It's pretty brave to put the vest on and stand out in front of somebody where your friend might walk by, and now you're outed
Right.
that you're a Girl Scout. And it's I don't know why there's such a negative connotation for that age group from their perspective. It's not from an adult's perspective, but from their perspective, why they hide it. I don't know why.
It's not the norm. They don't really want to be different.
Yeah, even though there are 2.5 million Girl Scouts,
Yeah.
that's not a lot when you consider the context of even this country.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
not that many. So they're always in the minority. And just, I think wearing a uniform in
Yeah.
general
I think the uniform
is sort of,
yeah.
yeah.
That was actually one of the takeaways I took from the meeting. Like, we're pretty strict. We're not really that strict, but we try to make sure they wear their vest during the meetings.
Mhm.
But why? Like, do we really care? I don't know.
I don't really care.
Like,
Not
we
in a
always,
meeting.
Like, we always encourage them, and like, this is the time. They don't wear it very often, and there's some pushback, or I forgot it. There are people who just always forget it. Like, but maybe we don't really care anymore.
Right.
Like, maybe that is one more thing we can let go of. Like, obviously, when they're out selling cookies, it's a hard pass.
That's
Like,
a
you
good
have
idea
to.
for a conversation with them to say,
we may
listen,
wanna
is
ask
the
them.
vest a big deal to you? And if that's a big deal, then fine, we're willing to let it go for the meetings. But in public, when we're, if we're
And
attending,
it's a Girl Scout thing. It's a
selling
deal breaker.
cookies,
Yeah.
selling nuts and chocolates.
Yeah.
It is an absolute.
Right.
I don't care so much about that either. The only negative I can see about that, based on experience from the older girls, when it came time for them to need their vest, like when they got their silver award, and they were lost. They had like they were physically lost. Like, one girl had no vest.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, it's because you're not accountable for it on a regular basis. So you're not putting the patches on, you're not putting the pins on, and now you don't even know where it is.
Right.
So now you got to go in front of the entire Greater Los Angeles Council to receive this amazing silver award, and you got no vest.
But we have
So,
that
In
experience.
a room full of everyone who's wearing one.
Who's wearing one that's like legit,
Covered.
up to date,
Yeah.
done?
I think we
Yeah.
have that experience every year, though. I know I, for one,
We do.
have provided a vest to at least one kid per year during cookie season, so the mom could make a video or take a picture of their child to post on social media, on their Facebook, to say, hey, it's Girl Scout cookie season, because they couldn't find it
Yeah.
for the photo opportunity.
Well, you're supposed to sell cookies in your vest. You're not
Yeah,
supposed
absolutely.
to
You
sell
can't,
without.
you can't do it without a vest,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
hard and fast rule.
Or a sash.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of borrowing
uniform.
of vests when we were boothing. I feel
because
like
somebody always forgets or
Yeah.
doesn't have it or whatever.
Yeah.
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 You're right. That may be a good point.
my
Like we
only
don't really
hesitation.
require them to wear it. I mean, in the meeting.
No, it's not
but, like,
necessary.
it's
but if they
really
don't
not.
show up with it every other week, is it going to disappear entirely? And then we
Possibly.
really need it because there
Okay,
was
maybe they just have to bring it and get it checked off.
and show it.
Like get it checked off on a checklist.
Right.
I
If they're
see
bringing
your
it,
best.
they should at least put it on.
Yeah, right.
You know? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Good
It is a
point.
good question. I don't care if they wear it during the meeting, but they definitely would be even more of them lost for
Right.
sure.
Good point.
So when we bridge and when we, do those things,
Right.
we need them.
Or even just the rededication ceremony or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they really don't wear it that often.
No, maybe 5 times a year when it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
But
And even then,
yeah,
someone forgets.
someone
You know
forgets.
what I mean?
Yes,
So,
totally. What else is on your list, lady?
Well, this kind of ties into what I was talking about before, but I just wanted to mention at the second to last meeting, Leanne, you complimented the girls.
Oh yeah,
And about what great bonds they had formed, and they lit up. I watched them and they just lit up, and I it was a real like aha moment for me. I just realized how that people just get irritated with teenagers,
yeah.
That
It's easy to
sort of-
do.
That's it's very easy to do.
Yeah.
They can be very irritating. They can be very irritating in the meetings. And, they're loud in general. When they're in public, they travel in packs. They're loud. They're sort of tripping over things. They're knocking things over. They're getting in people's way. They're taking up the whole sidewalk.
They never stop talking.
Yeah. And
Never.
it really, really emphasized to me like how important it is for them to get positive feedback. Their teachers start to get more harsh in middle school. Like they're not getting really much positive feedback there at all. And it was like just watching you compliment them over something that was really, it really deserved to be complimented. You handled that so well, and it really led me. I left the meeting and thought about it a lot, and thought about my own kids and about our troop, and about sometimes like just to be not the cool mom. I'm not going to be the cool mom with them. They're teenagers. Nobody's the cool mom, but just to sometimes I'm just sort of like going along, just not being as vocal with them because I'm just letting them do their thing. And that maybe I need to step up more and offer more small compliments in the same way that the small gratitude things, just small compliments on a more consistent basis, because they really need it
Yeah, I
to
think they do.
thrive.
Well, thank you for the compliment about my compliments, but I think I think we've talked about this before. It's important, I feel, for them to know that they have built this troop. That it's not, we just facilitate what they build. We give them a direction and they do it. And even if that's not even entirely true, I think they need to feel that intrinsic value that they've built by forming these bonds, by showing up every other Friday, by committing to activities with friends. Those things they build intrinsic value. They build self-esteem. They build really important friendship bonds. They
It
build
gives them
communication
ownership.
skills.
Like
Yes.
they own the troop. It's not us owning the troop.
Yes. It's
We're just
their
showing up
troop.
because they're kids and they need parents involved. They need some adult.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So again, boothing on Sunday, I was thinking how you said we need to give more small compliments and probably less, like we need to step in a little bit less, I think. So when I was boothing, there were a couple of girls who were just being goofy, not inappropriate, just goofy. They were excited. They were jumping up and down. They were being silly. And there was an older girl who was like, oh my God, they're being so annoying. And I was like, so tell them. So she did. Like she walked over, stepped between the two of them and was like, hey, knock it off. And they kind of gave her a little pushback. And she pushed right back and they sort of knocked it off. And I was like, that's what I'm fucking talking about. Like, I don't have to say anything. I don't have to do anything. They can all manage this themselves with no animosity, no trouble, and everybody still having a good time. Like, that's
Right.
what's supposed to happen.
Well, what you did was empower them to manage themselves
Yeah.
instead of managing them for them. That's right.
It's unnecessary. They can actually do this.
Yeah.
Give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
They'd rather
that's-
listen to one another than to us.
Yeah.
They had.
And they can. Like,
And yeah,
like they have the ability. We need to give them that freedom a little bit.
I think so. And, you know, I think there is an age where it becomes an us versus them.
Mhm.
The leader is the leader. The leader says be quiet. The leader says this. The leader, instead of it being them regulating themselves,
Yeah.
which then
Or
makes
each other.
us
Yeah.
part of them, right? It doesn't separate us from them if they're managing. That's why we have a caper chart for each meeting because there's certain things that have to happen in a meeting. We have, you know, to say the Pledge of Allegiance, the Girl Scout Promise, the Girl Scout Law. And at the end of the meeting, we wrap things up. If there's a craft, we have people who clean up the craft or help. And there's a chart. Not everybody has a job every meeting, but there's one job called timekeeper. That's been the hardest one to teach, I think.
Yeah.
The timekeeper is supposed to keep the meeting on track. Maybe we should start really focusing on that position as leaders and making that a focus of ours, that whoever's the timekeeper one of us runs that timekeeper until they're all up and running the meetings. Because I
Yeah.
know last meeting, none of us were in the circle in the beginning or the end. And I liked that. I thought this should be their own circle of, you know, they hold hands at the end and sing Make New Friends and squeeze their hands to kind of complete the meeting.
Mhm.
And usually the three leaders are in that circle with them. But maybe we should start stepping out and let that just be their circle so that they
I don't know.
start-
I like the fact that we're a part of it because it shows that we are a part of that. But I like the fact that we didn't do any of it. They managed it all on their own. And I think that's what we should be aiming for,
Yeah.
is have the timekeeper be like almost like a mini leader
Yes.
for each meeting.
I think
Like
so.
let them do it. And like we haven't really given them the authority or ability to do that. I don't know. Like
I
it
don't
just
think we've
hasn't.
guided them.
I don't
think
thi-
they know what to
Maybe
do.
I think you're right. We could do a better job at giving them more autonomy so that they could actually run the meeting.
Yes, to
And us
understand.
be more of a part of the troop and less of a leader role.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should try that.
Yeah, we should. We should. Yeah. I think the whole point of having a Girl Scout troop is to empower them to be themselves within a context of a larger group and have a voice. And they all have a voice, let me tell you. Too much of a voice. But that's good.
Yeah.
That no one feels like they can't talk, you know. That's our job, is to give them a place that's safe, where their friendships are safe. There's no negative. I haven't seen any cattiness or negativity like that kind of middle school girl bullshit that happens everywhere. I haven't seen that in our troop. Have you?
Not in
I
a
have not.
really long time.
No, me either. How did we do that? How did we do that?
We were very conscious. I remember how we did this.
You did? Well, tell me. I don't remember.
I remember we have been very on top of that, starting in first grade when there was like trouble with another troop. And we were like, yeah, that shit don't
Oh.
fly. We're not having that. Remember? And we did
Yes.
this whole thing with the other troop. Like they're still your sisters, whether they're in your troop or not. There's not one that's better than the other. Like we've been really on top
Yeah.
of like not accepting. That is not the culture of this troop.
And
Right.
when they were
And-
little and when they had snack time, we made a point
Uh-huh.
of having them
We've
not
done a-
sit next to their BFF. They
Yes.
had to draw, remember, they had to draw
Yeah.
straws about where they sat. So they were sitting next to someone different. They got to know the different people in their troop. And then when they had capers on camping trips,
Mm-hmm.
they were matched up with somebody who wasn't their BFF. So they
Yeah.
really got to know, they really got to have that feeling of we're all one. We all get
Yeah.
along.
I guess we worked on that so much, so for so many years that now we don't have to work on it. So I forgot.
I think you're right. I feel like
Yes.
we aren't really working on it right now, but we don't need to.
Knock on wood. I mean, they
Yeah,
still
exactly.
gravitate towards their
Yes.
BFFs. They
Which is
still
fine.
sit next
But
to
that's
their BFFs.
okay.
But
yeah,
but it's not exclusive.
No, there's
Right.
no exclusivity. That's right.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I forgot about that. We did
We've
have
done
them.
a lot.
We
I think.
we did. I totally forgot. I live in the moment, and sometimes I really do.
You're so woke, Leanne.
I don't know if I'm
My
woke.
God.
I don't know if I'm woke or I'm Alzheimerish, but I feel like this happens to me a lot, where I'm so in this moment, I've forgotten the moments
that got us here.
that got us here. I
Yeah.
really do, because I'm just right here. So you're right. We spend a lot of time organizing and controlling their social, so that now we're in a place where we don't control their social hardly at all.
Right. We don't need to.
No.
We've put in all the tools and all the
Right.
things so that they understand. Yeah, I think we worked really hard at it. And I think actually that is one of the best things about this troop.
Yeah, it is really great.
Really, really proud of these girls. Like, it doesn't matter who you are.
No.
They don't care.
No. So what I had complimented the troop on, I'll tell the listeners what Kirsten was talking about. And this is my daughter, so caveat there. I was complimenting my daughter, but I actually didn't compliment my daughter at all until this meeting. I just told she had no idea what I was talking about. Could you tell by her face? She didn't know what I was talking about. I held this tight on purpose until we got to the meeting. So we go to our local middle school, and many of our troop members go to the same middle school. It's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Isla's an 8th grader, and I was dropping her off in the morning, and a 6th grade girl in our troop was walking with a huge project, like she was carrying like a volcano. It wasn't that, but like a big project. She lives across the street from school, but it's a little bit of a walk. So Isla hops out of the car, says goodbye to me, and just stands there and waits on the 6th grade Girl Scout and helps her into the school. And that moment, I thought, wow, there's no reason those two girls would be friends. They're 6th grade and 8th grade. They don't do anything together except Girl Scouts. That was really nice that that Isla stopped and waited on Jillian and helped her in. That's directly related to our troop and how we are friends in our troop. I'm going to tell this story to the troop because I believe any other girl in this troop would do that for any other girl in the troop. Like any 8th grader would do it for any 6th grader, 7th grader for an 8th grader. They all would do that for each other. I really believe that.
And they all lit up as though you were specifically complimenting each of them because of the way that you told it. It wasn't just like, oh, good for Isla.
No, it had
She did
nothing,
this
actually
thing.
nothing to do with Isla.
Yeah.
It had to do with the dynamic that we, the girls included, we all created and have maintained. That was what I was trying to get across to them, that they should be proud of the relationships they'd created because that's what caused Isla to do that with Jillian. And Jillian met her with such a smile and was so happy to have her help. And it was just a wonderful moment I got to witness. And I really do believe it would have happened with any 2 or 3 girls in our troop mixed in any way. And that's something to be proud of. So if you have a Girl Scout troop, fuck the badges. That's really what it should be about, right? Is this group of girls who are mindful, right? That's really mindfulness. Is Isla was mindful that her Girl Scout sister had her hands full and could use a hand. That's just mindfulness. So if all of these girls walk away in 12th grade with this mindfulness of other people, that's a huge accomplishment. I am so proud of what we've done with this troop. I forget all the stuff that we've done. Clearly, I forgot that we drew names to sit next to each other for snack. I totally forgot about all that stuff. But we, the 3 of us, and Sandy and Lynn, who Sandy and Lynn were both leaders at one point in time as well, have really built something. We have built a community, not only with the kids, but with the parents too, in a certain way. And that is something really to be proud of. So anybody thinking about being a Girl Scout leader, I would encourage you to think about it from that perspective. Because when we started our troop, I know we talked about this on the last episode, we started it thinking, who do we want to build this with? You know, and in a selfish way, who do we not want to build this with? Who do I not want to have to deal with? You know, who do I not want in this troop? Not the children,
Yeah.
the adults.
Right.
We do have
anything
a
for kid.
nice group of parents, like a
Uh-huh.
particularly nice group of parents.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We have a great group of parents. They're very helpful. They're very invested and
And nice people.
nice people. And they all seem to be like-minded.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
We're super lucky.
We're so lucky on so many levels. It's been a dream. I've really enjoyed it. Even when it sucks, I've still enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, me too.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you, Cathy? Have you really enjoyed it?
Yeah, I'm happier now that cookies are over, but yeah.
I know Cathy does.
We all are.
She does all the heavy lifting with cookies. Bless her heart. I'm her
No, it's
quote,
not even
cookie
that. I'm
chair,
just- yeah.
co-chair. But I pick up the packet and pretty much show up at the end. That's what I feel like I do. Life takes over for me in cookie season. I don't know why. Like this past week, I was supposed to be the leader boothing on Sunday or Saturday.
Saturday.
No,
It was
Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah,
And
I forgot.
high school softball.
Yeah.
They just added 2 games on Saturday, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't go, but I'm the only parent here. I don't have anybody else that can take her. It's an hour away, and it's exactly when we're boothing, so I can't. So it's a bummer. I feel like I dump that on Cathy every year. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I can't. It's not on purpose.
I know. It's fine. It's really fine. It's all fine. But it is probably my least favorite activity of Girl Scouts.
It's cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very happy when
The
it's
good news
over.
is cookie season and your physical are both over.
It's true. Yes. Yes.
2 of the worst things.
Missions accomplished.
All downhill from here. That's
right.
Just
Yeah.
a breeze.
Kathy
Rest
can
of the year.
hibernate for the rest of the year.
Nice.
I know.
Going on vacation. It's such hard work.
No, these cookies. The cookies aren't that hard. It's the parents and the money and the organizing and I need more and picking up from the cupboard. It's none of it's hard. It's just
Right.
minutia.
None of it is hard. It's just a lot.
It is a lot.
But
and I keep saying,
fine.
"Let me do it. Let me do it." And she, no, I got it.
And then she says, I have softball.
I know, right? The
I have
one
softball.
time.
Oh, I have to go skiing. Oh, I'm going to be in London. Oh,
I know. Sorry. I don't have a great track record.
you do not have a good track
Don't have
record.
a great track record. I mean, when you put it like that. But I am fabulous at giving speeches. Apparently. I'm inspiring
cookies you do
Flies in
speeches.
for the compliments, leaves. Like
I'm the mic dropper. And mic drop. Okay. See you guys next week.
Nice. All right. Well, now we know where we stand.
No, I think we compliment each other very well. I do feel
Yes.
sometimes that I am very overpowering sometimes in the meeting. I'm a fire hoser. I did an episode. It wasn't you on this episode. I was talking to my therapist about how I was talking to Georgia at one point, and apparently I fire hose people where I get really intense, and I say positive or negative things, but really intensely with a lot of like intensity, and sometimes that doesn't work for people who have anxiety problems. So she was like, "You're just a fire hoser. That's who you are, but sometimes you need to not fire hose." And I thought, what a great visual, because she's absolutely right. So sometimes I feel like I go to Girl Scouts and go, okay, open a valve, fire hose. You got anything else to say? Good, let's go. And I've now not given anybody else a voice because I've just fire hosed everything. It's not intentional. But now that she's brought it to my attention in that way, I think I'm going to try to be less fire hosey. We'll see how that goes.
that's just part of our routine, though, in Girl Scouts.
Yeah, and
that
I
it's
don't
like,
think
okay,
it's-
Leanne
yeah.
gets it started. It says, okay, this is what we're going to do. But I mean, there have been plenty. You've missed a lot of meetings that not a lot, but you've missed some.
Enough.
You've missed a lot
but
of
I mean, you were out of
meetings.
town and you've had some things going on. So
Yeah, and
it's not that those things don't get said when you're not there, you know?
just
like,
not as well.
and I don't
how dare you? How dare you?
Mic drop again. No. I'm joking, clearly. Only sort of joking, clearly. No, I'm joking. I know that. I know it's fine when I'm not there. I don't need to be there. I don't have that kind of like, I must be there or nothing will be done. I don't feel like that because I think the 3 of us are a good team. That's another thing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a leader for this many years with someone that you don't work well with. It's not fun for either person. Right? For the other person that you're not working well with, they can't be going home going, well, that went great. You know, it doesn't work. It's really important that you find the right teammates right?
Yeah.
In everything in life, but especially with something where you have to be so selfless. I mean, you really do have to be selfless to be a Girl Scout leader. You have to, don't you think? No?
I guess so. I mean, it sounds like, toss. Like,
it should sound like toss. It should sound like toss. This is a big commitment. This is not a small commitment. I don't think.
I know, but
it's
it just
huge commitment.
I guess it makes us sound more saintly than we are. I often go into a Friday when we have a meeting thinking, oh, I can't do this today. I've got too much on the go. Like just sort of like,
oh, same here.
Mildly resentful of the meeting. And then when I get there, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's just that there's so many plates to spin. It's Friday after school when we've all had really busy weeks. We're often going into really busy weekends. So I'm certainly not saintly like, oh, I'm very selfless and I'm giving
no, me neither.
Yes.
Oh, I feel the same way
it's
too.
very human, but it is still very giving.
Yeah. I definitely feel that way.
Yeah.
Especially when my daughter, our meetings are from 4 to 5:30 and my daughter gets out of softball at 4:30. And I go, okay, what am I supposed to do here? This is really frustrating. Like, I don't want to blow this off. Like, I missed 2 softball games for World Thinking Day. And it was the one game where Georgia hit a triple, got 2 RBIs, and played like the best game of her life. And the first thing she said to me when she got in the car was, of course, neither of my parents were at this game. And then the next day, she didn't have great games. And I think she was bummed because I had missed the good games and came for the games that were just okay. But what can you do?
Right.
What could I wanted to go to World Thinking Day. I really wanted to. I didn't get to go last year. I was out of town or something.
That's the problem with having more than one kid.
As a parent, you're always choosing whether it's work or Girl Scouts or whatever. Like, you have to make a choice, and it sucks.
It does suck. And I'm at the softball field constantly. It's not like I'm at every single game that I can possibly be at. So it's not like I don't ever go to a ball game. I was sitting in 49-degree, windy, overcast for 7.5 hours on Saturday. And I thought I was going to die. I stopped drinking water because I could not pull my pants down again in that weather to go pee. I was like, if I have to undress again to go pee, I'm going to die. I'm going to come out an ice cube. And it's not even that cold. I know in Minnesota, it's not a big deal. But in California, 49 degrees in the middle of the day is cold. And I was like, this is my penance for going to World Thinking Day the day before. So I'm sitting here freezing my ass off, watching a mediocre ball game and getting us both. They got creamed both games. So anyway, it is. We are not perfect people. We definitely make mistakes, and it's not always fun. And I don't always want to go, and I sometimes get really frustrated with the parents, and sometimes I get really frustrated with the kids. But overall, the overall feeling is very selfless, very giving, and focused on building this community in this positive place. But yeah, you're right. I'm glad you brought that up because I don't want anybody to think that I walk on sunshine and shit rainbows because I do not. In fact, do either, and neither do you, and nobody does. I hate going to the leader meetings. I hate it. I hate it, and I don't go
Rock,
as
paper,
much
scissors for Thursday.
Is it this Thursday?
Yeah.
I think I can go.
Wait.
I'll look on my calendar. I'm pretty sure I
it
can
is.
go. I have something Wednesday night. I'm pretty sure I can go Thursday. So I try to go every time I can. I know the last couple times I had like a school event. Like one time I had to go to for something. And so I was like, it's the same time. So, and I don't have another parent to send to. So it's me or nothing. So yeah. Anyway, what else should we say about this? Anything else?
I don't know. I think we've said a lot.
Yeah, we have. We're going camping soon. So
parents were asking me about that actually.
I know.
Are we still going? I'm like, yes.
I'm going to send an email. I'll send an email in a little bit. I'll tell you afterwards. I have some top secret intel.
Sweet.
But not for the mic. Not for the mic.
Oh, hot topic.
But now let's talk about going forward. Just because we're talking about Girl Scouts, and maybe somebody who's a leader can benefit from this. Anybody that's bored, I apologize. Next year, we're going to have more girls in high school.
Mm-hmm.
We are already having a lot of girls miss our Friday. Should we think about this is a way leaders have to work. We used to meet right after school, walk over from school in elementary school, have a meeting. I don't even remember what day it was. Like
Tuesday. It started on Tuesdays.
Yeah, it was early
Because
day.
it was
on
early
Tuesday.
release day.
That's right.
And then we moved it to Friday for some reason.
Very recently, like only about a year ago, I think.
Oh, we moved it to Friday when we moved to middle school. When
Yes.
the older girls moved to middle school.
Yes,
So a
so
couple
2 years
years
ago.
ago.
So it's been 3 years ago.
3 years.
We
Correct.
moved to
yes.
Friday because we thought Friday afternoons would be the best bet to get the most people there. And we moved it a little later, so we did it right after school when they were younger and had snacks for them. So they would come in, have a snack / social time, and then we'd start our meeting. And then we moved to Fridays, and school gets out around 3, and we moved it to 4 so that girls that are at other schools that are maybe 30, 40 minutes away would have time to get there and have a snack before. Although they have requested that we reinstate the snack recently. So we maybe should discuss that, because I can tell you this. For the 10th grade girls, snack is key. Now, they meet at Starbucks before the meeting and have 30 minutes before the meeting to snack and get their social on. And then when they show up, the meeting is 1 hour. They do not want more than 1 hour. Although sometimes I have to have more than 1 hour, and I'll tell them ahead of time, this is going to be a longer meeting, and they can tolerate that, but they don't like it more than an hour, and they want to be able to hang out afterwards and continue to socialize. So I don't think it gets better, the socializing, as they get older. I think it gets kind of worse, where you have to compartmentalize. Not worse, but
No, but I think that's part of the dynamic.
yeah, it is.
You're like, okay, so an hour and a half, you get 30 minutes, go to Starbucks, be social, and then come prepared.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's so important to understand that that's where they are.
It is where they are. 100%. And
They're never going to come. They're not going to participate if you're trying to make that not happen. So
you're right. That is important.
So
Every
build
once
it
in a while,
in.
one girl
Yeah.
will be like, we usually meet around 10:30, so they get dropped off at like Starbucks at 10. And sometimes a girl is like, I'm just too tired. I'll meet you at 10:30. And they'll sleep in. And the other 3 will go and have coffee. I don't care. Don't care. I don't care. I just need you here at 10:30. And if you don't come, by the way, I don't care about that either.
right.
So it's up to you. It's you all on your terms. And the older they get, this is really frustrating, the more flexible I've had to be about when we can meet. Because this week someone has water polo. Next week, now I only have 4 girls in that age group, so it's a little easier. But we have had our most consistent time is about 10:30 Sunday, but it's not probably 3 of the 4 meetings a month are 10:30, and then one has to be like 5:30 at night. We have spaghetti dinner and then like this past weekend had to be 11:15, and I have to be really flexible with that age group. So I don't know how we prepare for our larger group, because we have 18?
Right. I don't know how that's going to be possible to be that flexible with a larger
I don't think
group.
it will be.
I don't think so either.
But we have to figure out what time
Right.
is most likely for them to be able to do it in the weekend. You know, Cathy was Georgia's former leader, is another Cathy. And she had her meetings on Friday night at like from I think it was 6:30 to 8, which sounds bad, but everybody came because sports are already over.
But they're not in high school. She didn't have high schoolers that came.
That's true. They weren't in high school.
Because I think that
Good
won't
point.
work for
Good
high schoolers.
point.
Yeah.
No, you're probably right.
Like, that's the tricky part. Like, how do we find a time where they're not busy? Or
A majority
or
are not.
Girl Scouts will be chosen over whatever other activity is out there.
Well,
Like,
I'll
that's the tricky part.
I'll tell you the hardest thing to be chosen over is sleep.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part.
Totally believe that. My
Is
kid would
sleep.
not. Yeah.
That's the hard part for these teenagers. They'd rather sleep. So they're really dragging themselves out of it. I mean, literally they come in their pajamas and they look disheveled and like makeup smear. They look like hungover. It's 10:30. I'm not asking you to be here at 8. But 10:30 is, they're exhausted. I mean, 2 of my girls play water polo and get up at, one of them has to be in the pool at 5.
Yeah.
And so on Sunday, she just wants to sleep. I totally get it. And then I have other girls who are theater, so they're in the night, and it's just been really hard. So we have to think about that going forward. How do we retain?
We just have to continue to be flexible and to listen to them.
Yeah.
And to be flexible about them missing a lot of them and not, not being there for every meeting.
Right.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I want, what are we going to do?
I don't know, because I really want this group to stay together as much as I can for the group's sake, for the girls' sake. So how do we do that? Make it work for us, because it has to work for us or we can't have a meeting, and make it work for them. And how in the hell am I going to run both troops on a Sunday? That's going to suck.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess that wasn't very interesting to talk about on the podcast, but we'll talk about that later. Well, it's been so fun doing this with you guys. We have gotten the privilege of becoming better friends, not only from Girl Scouts, but from Wife of the Party, Tosta. But what memories we've created together with these girls of all the camping trips and the concussions and the flu and the
getting screamed at by old men. Well,
you guys, wait
boothing.
till you hear the story from boothing on Saturday. I cannot wait. I'm not going to tell it because the girls are so funny when they tell this story. They had an experience with an older woman and 2 really hot guys.
Oh my God. And they're going to tell it?
Oh yeah. They're hysterical because they replayed the situation that happened 30 seconds before 15 times after it happened.
Oh my God.
It was friggin' hysterical. This old lady was hitting on these 2 young hot guys.
Oh my God.
Really funny.
An old lady was hitting on 2 hot guys. Is the old lady like my age?
Oh no.
Because to them,
she was significantly older. She was very cute and very aggressive.
Oh my God. That's really funny.
Wow.
Can't wait to hear the story.
It was very amusing. Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Anyway.
let's wrap up let's just talk about some of the amazing things we've done as a troop. Okay? We spent the night at the zoo.
2 zoos.
Two zoos. We've spent the night at Discovery Zone, right?
Yes.
How many camping trips have we been on?
Lots and lots
Probably
of camping trips.
12?
Yeah, cabin camping, tent
No,
camping.
it's been more than that, I
More
feel
than
like.
that? Yeah, it would
At
be more
least-
than that.
Easily 2, if not 3 a year for a long time.
For 8 years.
So yeah.
We've done Knott's Berry Farm. We've done laser tag.
We've had a women's panel. We held a
Mm-hmm.
women's panel of professional women and had them speak to the girls about what it's like to be a woman in the world. We've adopted a family from our local school district every year for the holidays.
3 or 4 years
Yeah.
running.
And bought gifts for their family.
Lots of community service. We've done cleanup at the Sepulveda Basin.
We've made what are they called? The bags for
Blessings
homeless.
bags.
Blessings bags for the homeless. We've done that a few
Repeatedly.
times. We've worked in the food bank multiple times.
We've gone to the bunny shelter.
We went to a local art gallery. Remember that local art
yeah.
gallery down the street? We've gone to see, didn't we walk to see
We
the
went-
Amelia Earhart statue?
We went to the other ceramics place too.
Oh, yes. We
We
had,
had art studio.
that's right. We went to Ceramics Art Studio.
Hiking.
We've been to
Gone to-
Catalina.
There's been a lot.
Miss Shannon. Sewing.
Yeah. We've done a lot.
What else? There's more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
3
we
trips to
bridged.
San Francisco.
3 years in a
Yeah.
row. We went to San Francisco and bridged over the Golden Gate Bridge. Thank you, Halston. That was a huge one. I totally forgot.
Only the biggest thing that we've
Totally
done.
forgot that one. What else have we done that's been really cool?
I don't know. Now that you put me on the spot, I'm like, I
I
feel like
know.
we've done a lot.
We've done a death hike.
We've done a
The
death hike. Yes.
The legendary death hike.
The
Yep.
legendary death. What'd you say? Well,
that was
that
the
wasn't
silver
in our
award.
troop.
Yeah.
But yes, my daughter earned her silver award. They earned their bronze award. They made a public service announcement about joining Girl Scouts.
Yes, and the younger girls
Yeah.
made built a butterfly garden at their elementary school.
That's right. That's
yeah,
great.
and they also did the oh no, I guess that was for a badge. The booklets we made that you guys distributed at Wallawi.
Oh yeah,
The camping booklets,
yes,
remember?
camping booklets? Yeah.
We did Easter baskets. They're asking if we want to do them again, so we should talk about that.
Yeah, we should.
If we want to do that.
Easter baskets for underprivileged, I
Yeah.
guess, people who needed them.
Kids who, yeah.
We've given to to our service unit community service for Thanksgiving several times, right? To buy baskets of food or compiled baskets of food to donate. What else have we done?
3 World Thinking Days.
We built a birdhouse.
Yeah.
3 World Thinking Days. That's amazing.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Exactly.
Lots of camping, lots and lots of camping.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. We've had
It has been a lot
Lots
of
of
fun.
cooking too.
Yeah.
lots of
Lots of cooking.
We've been to the theater. We've been to the Amundsen Theater several times with our troop.
Yeah. We've done a lot, actually.
We have done a
We've
lot.
done a lot.
We should look through our pictures and really make a list. Just make a list and give it to the girls and say, these are the things you've done. Like, feel the weight of that. That's a really big deal. Really count how many camping trips, how many community service days, how many times we've adopted a family. We made toys for a dog shelter, homemade dog shelter toys.
Oh, and
The
we had
kid-
the therapy dogs.
Yes.
come.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
For
That was
children's
one of my
hospitals,
favorite
yeah.
things. When the kids were so little and the dogs
They
were so big.
They were, what are those dogs called?
Newfoundlands.
Newfoundlands. They size
And the
Beautiful.
kids were like kindergarten, first grade.
Yeah, they were so little.
They were tiny kids then.
Yeah. That was cool. We should make a list of all the things and give it to them and just say, just so you know, this is pretty amazing. See if there's,
We should do that in preparation for next year.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think that
that's a
would
good
be a
idea.
really great thing to do. We can just go through the Shutterfly site.
Yeah.
Probably. And get a lot of that off there because I think it's important to look at your body of work. And for someone like me who lives in today, it's easy for me to forget that body of work. And to really look at it as one piece is pretty powerful.
Oh, they went to the wildlife waste station and got to pat some wild animals and see the fennec fox and the armadillo. And I don't even remember all the animals. It was amazing.
We've had some backyard movie night. We've,
Oh, yeah.
what all those end of the year?
We had a game night. Remember, we were in the what was that challenge? Like 1,000,000-minute game challenge or something.
I do remember
It was a
this.
long time
That
ago.
was a long time ago. We had a
We
tea
did that.
party for
We
a
did
lot
have
of
tea
people.
party. Yep.
We've hosted bingo, big bingo tournament. Remember when we had to bring a friend to the troop meeting?
Yes.
A
Long time ago. Yeah. I
And
was like,
someone
that
brought
was actually the tea
Carter.
party I thought you were talking about. Do you remember we did that tea party too?
Yes.
That was the other one.
And that was before.
That was different.
That was when they were daisies,
Mm-hmm.
and someone brought Carter
Uh-huh.
as a guest. It was adorable. Oh, Sam Bernard brought Carter as a
Uh-huh.
guest. It was really cute.
That's funny.
We should go look through those pictures and really show the girls what they've done.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There is a
I mean,
lot.
8 years worth.
That's a long time. Well, thank you, ladies, for being on this journey with me. Us
Thank you.
together.
Yeah.
It's been really great. Oh, I have something for you. I have a gift, but you have to open it.
Okay.
That's funny.
It's a penis. It's another penis. You guessed
That's
it.
awesome.
Well, open it so people
It's a
can see
camper.
it.
I love it. It's for
It's
camping.
a camper, yeah. It's for camping because we're going camping in April.
Woohoo. I saw this on your counter.
I know you
I
did.
love it. It's awesome. That's super cool. Thank you.
So,
you.
show the camera.
Wife of the party.
Can you see it here?
It's so cute.
So, wife of the party,
Love it.
12-ounce insulated coffee mug.
Oh.
I'm going to put them on my website for sale.
Awesome.
I love
They're a little pricey. I apologize, but they cost me a lot. So I'm making like $5 a mug. So don't kill me. I'm going to have to sell them for like $25. but they cost me $20. So
Yeah, but that's like a normal price for one of these.
I think it is, but
So-
I feel bad. I feel like
Oh.
that's why I didn't order them forever. I was like, nobody's going to pay $25 for a mug except for me. But here's a hint.
I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for always coming on this podcast, for always saying yes to every kooky thing I asked, reading books, to climbing rocks, to Girl Scouts, to everything. So I appreciate you always saying yes. Thank you very much. It's been a great journey. You two have been my most regular guests, I think. And I just appreciate it very much. Very much. So enjoy your mug.
Oh, thank
Here's
you.
a helpful hint. I fill it with hot water and then dump the hot water out and put the
Yeah.
coffee in, and it stays hot longer.
It's like a thermos. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it stays hot without doing that, but it seems to stay hotter longer.
Longer. That's smart.
So just a tip, anybody who buys one too.
Nice.
Life is such a gift and a privilege. And we are so lucky to live in this country where we have freedom of choice. And part of those choices is who you get to spend your time with. And as an almost 50-year-old person, I choose to spend my time with really good people. Like good people. Everyone's flawed. All three of us, four of us, if you count Halston, in this room are definitely flawed. But at the end, in the middle, in the very core, you guys are some really good people. Really good people. And I'm so blessed to have you in my life.
Well, likewise.
So thank
Well,
you.
thank
you guys
you.
are good eggs.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much. We're
Actually,
all good
feel
eggs.
that way about our girls too.
I feel that
yeah.
way too.
Yeah.
There's not a bad egg in the bunch. Well, maybe
Nope.
one. No, I'm just
Her
There's
name's
not a
Isla.
bad egg.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
that's true. The most disruptive one is Isla. She may not complain, but she
No.
definitely disrupts. That
No.
for that
Not
girl.
the most disruptive.
No, definitely not the most.
Well, you
disruptive.
know, I said this
But
on the last podcast.
they are good girls.
They
Every
are.
single one of them.
They are. And my motivation when I started this troop is not what the motivation is now. When I
Yeah.
started it, I needed Isla to have a level playing ground somewhere where she wasn't the worst student in the class, figuratively and literally. So I thought if I can take the high achieving peer group and move it over here where the playing ground is different. We're just being social and we're maybe doing crafts and we're learning things, not by reading, then that will help her feel like everybody else in the group. Because I recognized very early in kindergarten, she was not achieving like her mental peer group was achieving. So my intention in the beginning was that. It was really about leveling Isla's playing field. But my intention for this has completely changed, obviously. And it's really more about the whole group than it is about my kid. But thank you, dyslexia, for
Right.
bringing me to
for
this
this
place.
gift, right?
Because it has been a real gift. And that is one of the gifts of dyslexia to me, is that we started this together and we've created this community together. So really, it is all Isla. I mean, really, I never would have gone to Cathy and go, hey, you want to start a Girl Scout troop? If it hadn't been for Isla. Really, it was Georgia, because Georgia joined a Girl
Right.
Scout troop. And I went, hey, wait a minute. That might be really good for this little girl who's struggling in school. Maybe I should do that. So really, I should thank Georgia. Anyway, thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.